Hey folks, in this video, I'm going to be doing an analysis on OpenAI's announcement, OpenAI Frontier. If you haven't heard about it, it just announced today, February 5th, 2026. Essentially, OpenAI is getting into the enterprise software games, right? And the way they're doing that is introducing essentially AgentOps platform. Right, they call it Frontier. In my eyes, it's like the classic enterprise software, ML ops, or then most recently LLM ops, again, where you take models into production or LLMs and building LLMs into production. In this case, it's really focused on the agents, in which case you could build, deploy, and manage the agents, right? That's the process of it. So, the key topics that I'm going to be covering, as you see on the screen, number one, obviously the enterprise AI agent ops platform that they introduce. Number two, rise of AI coworkers, right? If you read the post, they talk about, essentially AI coworkers, what they need, and all that. And then there's also number three, a technical architecture. It's a very high level, right? Nothing too deep, nothing too technical, but I thought it was pretty interesting to review. And then last but not least, we'll give it my opinion. So let's dive right into it. Maybe we could even start with my opinion, starting off with Microsoft stock today. You can see it's down 5%. I mean, across the board, well, the context of the markets right now, things are super heavy, and it looks like we have some volatility ahead. And that looks pretty interesting, especially if you're a speculator on the short side. But looking at Microsoft right here, why am I looking at it? If I last checked, Microsoft has about more than 20% ownership of OpenAI, if I recall. So if we're in a period now where AI is the topic of the world, right, then the price action of Microsoft should be indicative of maybe how they're feeling on the back end. Now this is like super like rough sketch, or it's very blurred analysis here, right? It's very speculative. I'm just saying that, okay, a mega entity like Microsoft over here, which is 2.9 trillion in entity size, owning about 20% or 27%, if I recall, of OpenAI, right? You would think like, hey, it's the topic of AI, the stock should be higher, but sentiment is pretty bad across the board. So that's what's going on with Microsoft. Anyways, let's jump into the the announcement from OpenAI today. So this is the official, from their page, the official post from the page, and I won't read through the whole thing, but I do encourage you folks to read it. This is basically me running through it to show you how I analyze things and my take on it, right? So introducing OpenAI Frontier. And again, I do encourage you folks to read it, but if we just jump into it, what is it? Today, we're announcing Frontier, a new platform that helps enterprises build, deploy, and manage AI agents that can do real work, right? They are seriously getting into the games of like Snowflake and Databricks at this point, which is wild. I mean, Databricks having the lead, in my opinion, but Frontier gives agents the same skills people need to succeed at work: shared context, onboarding, hands-on learning with feedback, and clear permissions and boundaries. That's how teams move beyond isolated use cases to AI coworkers that work across the business. Very interesting. It's also very interesting that they noted some customers in here, it seems, right? Everything from State Farm, obviously Oracle, I mean, that partnership that they got, Thermo Fisher's in here, and also Uber, which is very interesting as well. Let's see what this one says. From the Chief Technology Officer at Uber himself, Praveen over here. At Uber, AI is already saving our engineers time and helping to power our products, but that is just the beginning. Our focus is on pairing the best human judgment with the latest models to deliver real, measurable value across the company. We're excited to work with OpenAI to find new ways to embed AI more deeply into our operations at true enterprise scale. So, this is super fascinating, right? Again, I do encourage you folks to read this because it's fresh. It's going to help you understand what's happening at the cutting edge of AI. And, well, this is a big move for OpenAI as well because they're essentially going from a consumer app. Again, I think ChatGPT has captured the consumer spirit, but we have yet to see with Gemini and everything else. But this is their introduction, or them planting the flag or whatever, them getting into enterprise software. And it's very fascinating to me. The AI opportunity gap. So what's this part right here? What is the opportunity? What's the reason? What's the problem statement? Why are they getting into this? So companies are already overwhelmed with the disconnected systems and governance spread across clouds, data platforms, and applications. Interesting. AI made that fragmentation more visible and in many cases more acute. Agents are now getting deployed everywhere, and each one is isolated in what it can see and do. Every new agent can end up adding complexity instead of helping because it doesn't have enough context to do the job well, right? So I think if we look at it like very macro, everybody is getting excited over this, LLM stuff or ChatGPT brain that came out a few years ago. And then now the obvious branch out from the brain is, agents or agentic enterprise or whichever. And now they're moving into enterprise software. Okay, so I see it. I see the obvious natural extension. As agents have gotten more capable, the opportunity gap between what the models can do and what teams can actually deploy has grown. That's the gap. That's the value gap right there. The gap isn't just driven by technology. Teams are still building the knowledge to move agents past early pilots and into real work as fast as AI is improving. At OpenAI alone, something new ships roughly every 3 days, and that pace is getting faster. Keeping up means balancing control and experimentation, and that's hard to get right. Enterprises are feeling the pressure to figure this out now because the gap between early leaders and everyone else is growing fast. Now, classically we hear about the technical debt that engineers will talk about here in Silicon Valley, right? Or just across the board. Now, in a world where you have just so much information, constant chaos, as I mentioned in the video on my page over here, you also have this comprehension debt that's developing across humans. I honestly believe. So, if you are not engaged, even just like disengagement for a little bit these days, I feel like, man, with all the information that comes out, you could just be losing your edge by not having comprehension debt. So it pays to do such analysis that we do here, and I encourage you to just stay engaged and put in the hours. OpenAI Frontier, right? So for AI coworkers to actually work, a few things matter. They need to understand how work actually gets done across systems. They need access to a computer and tools to plan, act, and solve real world problems. They need to understand what good looks like so quality improves as work changes. And they need an identity, permissions, and boundaries teams can trust, right? Again, this is the rise of the AI agent coworker, right? You're already seeing the rise of the AI agent supervisor at Databricks with their recent release on the deck that I saw. Let's continue right here. So going into, we could say now part three, right? The rise of AI coworkers. So now part three, technical architecture. They did include this image right here. Now it's a pretty, easy one. I would say it's not too difficult. So essentially, OpenAI Frontier is this portion right here, right? So these three blocks right here. So at the very bottom, you have a system of record, right? I'm guessing, I don't know, we'll just use like Salesforce or something like that as a system of record. Then OpenAI Frontier, what you have right here, you have the first layer is the business context, shared business context across data, systems, and workflows. Okay, and then the second portion is agent execution. So one is you got to have the business context, understand the business itself, right? What sector is the business in? Is it technology, financial services, healthcare, industrials? Then you go a little bit deeper and the context of like, okay, are we doing predictive maintenance for high tech manufacturing for, I don't know, Supermicro or Nvidia, right? Agent execution, sorry, not Nvidia, maybe like a Seagate. Agent execution over here, model intelligence and tools for agents to plan, act, and recover real world tasks. So this is where the agent executes after having the business context off of the system of record. Very interesting. And then last but not least, after you execute, there needs to be a layer for evaluation and optimization. Built-in evaluation optimization loops to improve performance, right? So you guys get it? The data over here, the system of record, that gives them the business context to understand the business and its workflows specifically to the business. For example, high-tech manufacturing like ASML. Then you have the agent execution over here, right? The model intelligence and tools for agents to plan. This is the execution portion. And then you have to evaluate and then give the feedback loops. So then it goes up higher. So after this, you then have the agents. So then you'll have your agents. Then this is interesting, OpenAI agents. Oh, it's like quite the population over here. Then you have third party agents. That's very fascinating. So, maybe your agent that for your specific, I don't know, industry, division, workflow, team, right? I'm guessing. And OpenAI's agents, oh man, they're going to have their own. And then a third party one, let's just say like, I don't know, like Claude agents or something. And then from there, you have the interfaces. So ChatGPT Enterprise, this is a little bit newer, I'm guessing. And then ChatGPT Atlas, the browser, and then your business applications, it looks like. Then all together, you have enterprise security and governance, okay, across the board, designed for sensitive and regulated work. So it very much is their first step, or I guess you could say it's a first step. Maybe they already took a first step, but from my interpretation, this is their first step into the enterprise software games. Very interesting. Let's move along. So, understand the work, right? Again, folks, I won't read everything to you. I'm just trying to capture the highlights of this and just give them my 2 cents. Understand the work. Every effective employee knows how the business works, where information lives, and what good decisions look like, right? Business context over here. Plan, act, and solve problems. We shared context in place. Agents need to be able to actually do the work. Teams across the organization, techno and non techno, can use Frontier to hire AI coworkers. Wow, who take on many of the tasks people already do on a computer, right? Agent execution, once deployed, AI coworkers can run across local environments, enterprise cloud infrastructure, so like AWS, Azure, GCP, and OpenAI hosted runtimes without forcing teams to reinvent how work gets done. And for time sensitive work, Frontier prioritizes low latency access to OpenAI's model so responses stay quick and consistent, right? They're really trying to reinforce their model here. I mean, they obviously, if you're an LLM, you want everybody to consume from you, right? So they got some, nice little demonstration over here. So look, create agent. So this is what it could potentially look like, right? So home inbox cases, library, new agents right here. It almost looks like a notebook, an Apple notebook. But it looks like they had a prompt right here, and then what skills? Oh, they already changed. But okay, answer sales queries, submit inbound sales agents, right? It looks like it's building out right here. Skills, and then apps over here. Okay, interesting. How about over here? What we got over here? We're moving, let's see, working, understanding. It looks like it's continuing. So inbound sales, you got the left side apps, finance, procurement, lead, all that stuff. And then all cases, block, pause. Okay, very interesting. And then this is the, looks like it's executing over here. Working, understand customer needs, check customer history. Wow, very interesting. Let's go down. Improve quality on real work. For agents to be useful over time, they need to learn from experience just like people do, right? So there's a lot of like, context graphs or whatever. You got to really understand the business and the people. So total cases right here, inbound sales, all cases. What are they doing over here? Chair, desk, see, overall accuracy, politeness, efficiency, refunds under 25, do not need my approval, submit. Wow. Okay. So us humans, we've come a long way, I have to say. Identity, permission, and boundaries. Obviously, security is important. I think it shows a little bit here. Let me see. Frontier makes sure AI coworkers operate within clear boundaries. That's super important in the enterprise space. And this is sort of them like selling it, right? Again, this is the early days. We have yet to see how they actually execute and take this to production. But for now, this is what it looks like. Combining technology with know how. So closing the opportunity gap isn't just a technology problem, right? What else is it? We've worked closely with large enterprises on complex AI deployments for years, so we've seen what works and what doesn't. Now we're helping teams apply these lessons to their toughest problems. Right. So if we go down, it looks like they got some other cases right here. So business problem, what we solve, how it works, outcomes for what root cause analysis, digital retail assistant, equipment maintenance. Is that like predictive maintenance or is it a little bit different, huh? User personalization and then marketing campaign, right? It really stretches across the board. Opening the and then on top of that, it looks like there's an ecosystem as well. Just by reading this, and you can see the underlying Frontier partners here, and they chose some pretty darn good names to partner with: Abridge, Clay, Ambience, Decagon, Harvey, Sierra. I mean, just the other hot AI native startups out there on the planet. And then let's build. Wow. So, folks, there you have it. This is a fresh, just released today, February 5th, 2026, introducing OpenAI Frontier. And that's my quick analysis on it. I know it was a lot, but we certainly are in unprecedented times in humanity, right? Unprecedented efforts in infrastructure build out, right? Unprecedented capital movements or deal transactions going down. Think of the OpenAI and ChatGPT deal. Unprecedented, I don't know, maybe eventually money printing, all this unprecedented stuff. And, unprecedented technology, brain, LLMs. It just seems like constant chaos, as I mentioned in my other videos. So, this is the way forward. And I think the best thing that we could do, folks, is to knock out that comprehension debt that is accumulating across every single human on this planet Earth moving forward every second right now. So don't give up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, well, hey, follow me and check it out. Thank you so much.